As you may or may not know, I have been working steadily in the film industry since the tender age of 9. Okay, it didn't technically start out as work since nobody was paying me, but I did spend every day annoying my friends and family while relying on my parents for food, and to me that counts as being a full-time artist. And in 2003, at the age of 12, it all paid off when I made my supernatural horror film In the Night, a 3-minute movie that was voted the winner of AOL's Make Your Own Scary Movie contest and led to my international television debut on Sharon Osbourne's talk show, which continues to be the only thing that my distant relatives remember about me at family parties. They'll be like, remember when you made that award-winning movie? And I'm like, which one? You'll have to be more specific. I'm gay, so that's like 1,300 creative projects ago. You're stuck on winter fall 2003 when I've been featuring a new silhouette every season since then, Uncle Charles. And yes, I am usually the smarmiest person at the Christmas party. Today, we're breaking down my breakthrough film and analyzing every DIY filmmaking trick that I pulled out in order to snatch the trophy. Despite my non-existent lighting, confusing storyline, and a few too many of my own sisters in the lead roles, I certainly did not cast them because I was interested in sharing the spotlight. If I could go back in time, I would just play every part myself, like in The Nutty Professor. But in the name of behind-the-scenes content, this clip breakdown will also include an exclusive interview with one of the cast members of this movie from here in my New Hampshire childhood home. So grab your popcorn for today's self-taught film school installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content on the web, and we crack it open like an old school project to say that's a piece of shit and we love it so much. And today is a special edition of Clip Breakdown because we're coming to you live from here in New Hampshire. I'm on a little trip and I'm staying at my family's home, and I thought, let's crank out a video. So I digitized a whole bunch of my old VHS tapes, and this was the most important one for me to dive into because we've already talked about my little stint on the Sharon Osbourne show in a previous video, which you can check out. So let's just dive in. But before we do, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to click subscribe so you always get new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. Now, I'm not gonna say that this 3-minute film followed a flawless 3-act story structure, because it didn't. What I will say is, it was a film, and it has my name right at the beginning of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and take accountability.
Nighttime is the center of fear for many, a time when they are surrounded by the world of sleep, where his or her half of the world have left them alone to get 8 hours of peacefulness.
It sounds like I was under the impression that the population of the entire world was divided in half, and then we all went to sleep in 2 8-hour shifts. But listen, American public schools don't have any formal curriculum on time zones, okay? Another thing that it sounds like is that I maybe wasn't working as hard as I could have been in my speech therapy classes that they were giving me for the list. They would be like, Nicholas, say snake without sticking your tongue out. And I would be like, okay, I'm a silly snake, and I just love to slither into the spotlight. The school was like, okay, we get it. This kid is gonna have a lisp for his whole life, probably. It's permanent. Also, this shot of the location I chose, instead of actually going outside of my house and shooting an exterior, I would just take a picture of the painting that I think a relative of my mom did years ago. This is not what the house looks like anymore. We've had renovations done because there was like an accident. More on that later.
But when he or she cannot sleep, peace does not exist. There is a handful, sorted from normality, that do not sleep, and whose brain configuration limits them only to a state of consciousness. These people are called insomniacs.
These are their stories.
Why was I fully prepared to conduct an FDA-regulated sleep study when I wrote the script for this movie? I think I had a couple of sleepless nights in 7th grade, and I was like, the insomnia washes over my brain like an illness and cloaks the world in darkness like a funeral veil. Like, okay, can we get some NyQuil PM for the young closet gay so he can stop making horror movies about how tired he is? I also love how I thought showing a sudden insert of a digital clock at 10:30 p.m. would illustrate how it's the dead of night. Mama, the Pizza Hut down the street is still filling carry-out orders. Just do a guided meditation or something. Also, did you clock that day to night transition? I said, at night, and then it got dark. Shooting day for night is really hard to make look successful, and I was not successful at that throughout this entire movie, which takes place in the night, as the title suggests, yet was shot in the broad daylight. Okay, let's just go to the titles. You cannot tell me that this title sequence was not a chilling portrayal of a family who briefly lost their power during a thunderstorm. If you had asked me then, I would have told you that this flickering tea light on my mom's stovetop looked more lush and beautiful than entering the Phantom of the Opera's lair. But actually I was just lucky to find the one candle in the house that wasn't clearly made for birthday cakes. As a creative young filmmaker, I said, let's wait until a third of the movie is over before we turn on even one single electric light. Up until that point, I clearly felt that the ambient glow from my sister's desktop computer tower was enough for the camera to sort of autofocus on her, let's say, well-worn pedicure. The audience must have been like, okay, so this character must have spent the entire night running through the jungle barefoot. I'm just kidding, Sister Melanie. The real money shot comes with this glamorous close-up of her hand. So not only was that shot briefly yet violently out of focus, but also my sister somehow found a way to overact turning on a light switch even when it was just her hand. How is it that the most natural looking thing about that sequence was the chipped and streaky copper nail polish? By this point in my film career, I had no idea about lighting or even using manual settings on a camera, so I would recommend young filmmakers try to get experience with use manual focus. Autofocus is not gonna work for movies in the dark. Anyway, well, let's see what our character does next.
Help me.
Damn it, Madison, did you clog the toilet again? I keep telling you, with Charmin, you can use less toilet paper. This was meant to be the introduction of my terrifying ghost character, played by my other sister, Jillian, and her huge, clompy hiking shoes that I guess I thought would be okay for her to wear on camera. Listen, I had cast this whole movie with some friends from my 6th grade class. I'm talking to you, Kyle P. and Chantel G, but I didn't formalize it enough. We didn't, make plans for their mom to drop off them at my house or whatever, so it fell apart on the day of shooting, and I had to recast with these two girls who live in my house, so it is what it is. Also, please note that I had no way of sourcing sound effects when I was this age. Sometimes I would go to the library and check out sound effects CDs, but I was on a quick turnaround time trying to get this video written, directed, shot, and edited in time for the deadline for the contest. So that sound effect you hear is me going into the microphone. You can sort of tell.
Help me.
Why did my main character react to that ghost child in her bathroom like it was a couple fighting in the aisle at Walmart that she was about to go down? I think the story logic up until now has been pretty much flawless and clear. A girl gets up for no reason, walks into a hallway, turns on the light, refuses to help a tomboy who is somehow stuck in her home, and then calmly goes back to bed, all while the high noon sun is clearly blazing out the window, even though the title of the movie is In the Night. You can practically hear the kids next door playing in the swimming pool while I've got the shades drawn all summer, talking like Vincent Price into my iMovie. It's to shoot interiors that look like night. I learned this trick much later on. You just have to cut open a black trash bag and hang it on all the windows. A trick that I took on board for my next horror movie a few years later, Spiked Punch. Much more successful interiors there. This is where I wouldn't blame someone who's watching this video for the first time for being confused about what's going on. What if what we just saw was a dream sequence? Is it now actually daytime? Who opened the shades while she was sleeping? These are the questions we don't know. Ah, yes, that's the good old way of making your bed when you have undiagnosed depression. And it looks very cinematic. When I was backstage at the Sharon Osbourne show, the producers thought that it was a hilarious Easter egg that I made it look like my sister had wet the bed during her nightmare. And I had to let them know that what we're looking at is actually an authentic sweat stain from my sister's body, because we couldn't be bothered to change her sheets to put them on camera. It was probably like the end of a humid New Hampshire summer, and I was location scouting in my sister's bedroom like, oh, there, that's the musty mattress that this story must be told from. I guess all of that, my character, who is unnamed, sorry I didn't name the character, I'll just call her Melanie, I guess. I didn't name any of these characters, what? Okay, I did not think about these characters as real people, and that's my 10-year-old fault. I'm sorry, 12-year-old. So I guess that was all just a dream sequence, and Melanie thinks so too. So she's like, oh, I guess I'll just get up and leave my room, start the day. I did have a correct instinct, knowing that it would look better if things were falling off the windowsill when the Venetian blinds started rattling. But why did the object itself have to be a stick of secret deodorant? I don't remember having a lot of respect for my sister's privacy, so I was probably just throwing their shit in front of the camera, and they had to be like, hey, maybe not the extreme close-up of my birth control case. I know that this is my big climactic scene, and it's supposed to be a poltergeist or whatever, but it kind of just looks like someone turned on an oscillating fan too high. Oh no, even document 1 in Microsoft Word is haunted? At least this ghost is grammatically correct with that period at the end of the sentence. Although it is kind of diminishing the urgency. Help me, help me, help me. This was actually the very day that I learned the keyboard shortcuts for copy and paste. Mainly because that was the compromise my sister offered me when I told her I needed her to type help me 100 times in 13 seconds. Are you guys ready for some pyrotechnics? You're not. I wish I was joking, but I shot this only literally a few months after we moved back into this house after it burned down from the inside out because of a fire in our basement. I think I really needed to include this part of the movie to, really crystallize my mom's PTSD. I would love to tell you that that was symbolism of me working through the trauma of the fire myself, but me and my sisters loved playing with fire and hairspray long before that. It was honestly just luck that we weren't responsible for burning down the house the first time, but I knew if it was gonna happen again, my camera would be rolling, mama. Also, for that one shot, I did a change in aspect ratio. I suddenly was like, letterbox bars, really narrow, so people will be A, distracted, and B, convinced this is a feature film like one you would see from a major studio. Woo! We're getting there. This is a quick movie. And can I just take a minute to quickly complain about how hard it is to shoot this video from New Hampshire? I don't have my normal setup. I got a lamp as my light here. This mug is not the same. It's weird, but I'm really glad that I got to digitize these movies because now we've got some other awful movies from my childhood to show you one by one. Please let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. And now, let's see what's next.
The damages of the bedroom were blamed on the family pet, but the girl was forced to spend the night in her brother's bedroom while he was away at college.
Who is this expositional little queer who keeps piping up in the middle of the movie? My voiceover being included for zero reason is out of pure laziness. I was just tired of directing my sisters, and I was like, neither of you are gonna be the one for this voiceover. I have the golden vocal cords, okay, Melanie and Julian? You sit down. We got your physical presence on screen. That's enough. I could have had, like, my dad do the voiceover. At least it would have sounded a little more imposing. Anyway. I also want to know what type of family pet would ever get blamed for typing help me on a computer screen and then setting the top of a dresser on fire. Was their tabby cat taken over by Pazuzu from The Exorcist? Jeez. Also, she was forced to sleep in her brother's room because her house had no couch. While he was away at college, I just crammed in an extra character in there. I think that's why I was gonna have a third friend play like an actual brother at some point. I guess I was just gonna add scenes to this depending on who was available. But I was official. I typed up a 3-page script, okay, mama? I knew how to do my job. Here's me scrolling through the iTunes sound effects and using Eastern Gong to add suspense to this moment. I don't know if you guys can tell, but we are dangerously close to a really scary moment because we just heard that gong and it tells us dinner's ready. and the girl was never seen again. But don't worry, her disappearance was blamed on the family pet. The pet of unspecified species. Why couldn't I say it was a dog or something? Like, I didn't even know what kind of animal it was. The family pet. Not only do I feel like that ending sequence had some editing that worked as successfully as I wanted it to, but it was also successful in that my sister Jillian looks almost exactly like a dead corpse that was found in a river. Although that was mostly unintentional due to how unbrushed her hair looks. You can't tell me that that reveal of her saying, "Help me," just like in the dream, wasn't like, oh, it wasn't a dream. Like, it kind of comes together then. Also, I made the specific choice to not show the ghost saying, "Help me," the second time. I thought it would be much more cinematic to show the reaction shot. So you just hear the ghost say, "Help me," well, it's Melanie's face. Where I wish I could have helped coach a better performance out of the actors was every scene. Seems like I just told them, okay, do what the page says. No, and this was Melanie wanted to be she was a musical theater actor. She was in Godspell in a summer. She was in Oliver. She played the one who gets murdered. So I don't know why she was phoning it in for this whole experience, but I guess it was enough to win us the Oscar. And by Oscar, I mean I got like a digital camera for free from America Online. This movie was picked as one of 5 finalists from about 100 or 300, I don't remember, in like different VHS tapes that got sent in. I remember going to the UPS store down the street and trying and packing up my carefully made VHS tape to submit it. And so I was one of 5 finalists, and then I won. I do remember the other entries being a lot more jokey, like they were made by older teens who were like, "We're going into a haunted house." Like they were laughing on camera. So I think I got the votes because I took it the most seriously. And that's why people like me in general, is because I'm so serious and serious all the time and nothing is funny. But I want to give you guys the real behind the scenes tea from someone who actually experienced my direction. So it's time to get a friend of the channel onto this camera, my sister Julia. Now welcoming to the show is my sister, who's 15 months older, as well as a registered nurse who fought on the front lines throughout the entire pandemic and continues to help save lives every day, Miss Jillian. Hello, Jill.
Hi.
Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You were on an episode at this very kitchen table a few Christmases ago where I made tiny little desserts, and you did not like how you didn't smile through that whole thing, so I'm happy that you're smiling this time. Remind me the name of your character in The Night.
The ghost?
Yep. It was a trick question because the character did not have a name. It was the girl and the ghost. What can you tell me about your memory of this audition process, the casting process?
Well, there definitely wasn't an audition. I was just your sister, so I automatically had to be in any film that you wanted to shoot in the house. You gave me direction to suck myself back into the bathroom, and that's all I needed to perform, and that was my scene.
Do you remember the last scene that you were in?
I didn't remember until I just rewatched the
Did you like did you know when you were making it that this was going to win the contest? Or what did you think?
I knew that you were a good filmmaker for your age, so I thought that you had a chance. If I had known you were going to win, I probably would have tried more and maybe looked a little more ghostly and not just wore my regular sweatshirt I was wearing that day.
And the hiking boots. I don't know why I didn't say anything.
But I think what probably happened is you wanted me to wear something else, but I insisted on wearing that outfit because it was so important to me to wear a sweatshirt and hiking boots.
That was the brand.
And you didn't want to put up a fight, so that's what I wore as a ghost.
It was always a very delicate balance getting my sisters to be in it between like just getting them to do what I asked and having them completely bail if you ask like one extra thing too many. So I had to keep it short, focused, and sometimes what she wanted. Can you recite your famous line for us?
Help me.
What do you remember about the process of me getting the call and going to be on the Sharon Osbourne show? Because that was really memorable for me, but did you care at all?
I did care. I think, if I remember correctly, we were all sitting in the living room and you got the call and we were like, is this really happening? And
they even had us take a picture of the 3 of us because they thought about flying all 3 of us out together.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we sent them a picture of the 3 of us and they were like,
Just that one.
They said we got 1 plane ticket. But you still made your TV debut by appearing on television. Mm-hmm. Do you ever think about showing people that?
No.
What about...
I don't.
What about restarting your acting career?
I think a great idea for one of your next videos would be maybe remaking it in the night with Melanie and I next time we're home together.
Oh my god.
And I think we could do a much better acting job.
Yes.
I think
Oh
it'd
my
be
god.
A quick, fun video to shoot.
What do you guys think? You have to give it a thumbs up if you think that's a good idea and you want to see it. Can you tell people to get vaccinated?
Sure. I think it would be great if people could get vaccinated if they haven't already. It's really helpful to the healthcare providers and our families, and it opens up beds for people who are sick. Even if they aren't sick with COVID, we need ICU beds for people if you get into a car crash or something like that. So protect the community and do what you can.
You heard it here first. Jill, thank you so much for being a part of my award-winning film and a supporter of the channel since then.
My pleasure.
You have to meet Jill's adorable little dog, who you might have seen all over my Instagram stories. Oh my god. Ah! Ah!
This is my little dog, Tommy. I adopted him last year, and he's my best friend.
He's literally so sweet. Oh my god. Wow, what a fascinating look into the cast and crew of In the Night, my masterpiece from 2003. You guys have to let me know your thoughts and opinions about this piece of work because I'm, proud of how it got me kickstarted in my career. It's clearly the most successful piece of content that it was the most successful piece of content I made. Up until my Shane Dawson videos got 1 million views, this was easily my most viewed thing. This was no longer my peak in life. I no longer peaked at age 12. I did it at age 30. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this look into my archival tapes. Let me know if you would like to see me uncover the movie where a person has a drug addiction next. I was a dark child. Dark child. Also, give this video a big thumbs up to let me know you want to see even more breakdowns of my own work. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when I'm coming up the stairs in the night like a ghost boy. Also, I've got merch available and a Patreon where you can access bonus episodes and virtual watch parties. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for joining me from my childhood home, even though you just saw a gray wall and this coat rack. You guys are all the greatest. I will see you next time.